Just how damaging to the country is the big lie about imaginary fraud in the 2020 election? It is the very permission structure for every dark force in American political life today. Gabe Sterling of Georgia warned us last fall that it could lead to violence, which, of course, is exactly what it did. That's exactly what ensued on 1/6. Local and state leaders are now under constant threat. Secretaries of State, like Secretary of State Hobbs in Arizona, Benson in Michigan, because of the big lie. And yet the actions being taken in service of the big lie have gotten bolder and scarier. As described in the Washington Post, the bill blocked by state Senate Democrats in Texas this weekend included this, quote, the final version included numerous provisions inserted at the last minute, language making it easier to overturn an election, no longer requiring evidence that fraud actually altered an outcome of a race, but rather only that enough ballots were illegally cast that could have made a difference. The legislation also would have changed the legal standard for overturning an election from reasonable doubt to preponderance of evidence, a much lower evidentiary bar. So it seems Republicans are looking to lower the bar to overturn future elections based on a phenomenon, voter fraud, that didn't happen, didn't exist in the first place. Bill Barr couldn't find it. No one could find it because there wasn't any. One Texas Republican admitted as much, that the problem isn't so much the reality of the fraud, but the perception of fraud. Here's Congressman Michael McCaul.
I think the intent, and I'm not in the state legislature, is to restore confidence in the elections that fraud isn't taking place. Now, you make a good point. I'm a federal prosecutor. In a court of law, that hasn't really been borne to bear. This may be more of an optics issue, restoring confidence with the American people. And in my state, you actually do believe there was tremendous fraud.
They believe it because you all lied to them. That guy saying that that confidence needs to be restored. It's because Republicans made them doubt it, right? We only need to restore it because the former president and all of his enablers in the Republican Party have undermined it over and over and over and over again. Months and months of feeding their supporters lie after lie. An effort that now poses a glaring national security threat. Recent polling finds 28% of Republicans agree with the statement that, quote, because things have gotten so far off track, true American patriots may have to resort to violence in order to save our country. Joining our conversation, Robert Gibbs, former White House press secretary under President Obama, now lucky for us, an MSNBC political analyst. Also joining us, Olivia Troy, former top aide to Vice President Mike Pence, and now the director of the Republican Accountability Project. And Paul Rieckhoff is back, host of the Independent Americans podcast, president of Righteous Media, and the founder of Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans of America. Paul, to you first, from this national security perspective, this is, I don't even know the right analogy anymore, but they all got together. They built a Frankenstein, and now Frankenstein is at war against our democracy. And they all say, well, we have to shore up our democracy from the Frankenstein that they built.
Yeah, that Frankenstein is the number one national security threat in America. And the Pentagon has said it. The commander in chief has recognized it. And the Republican Party is perpetuating it. I mean, the Republican Party that you knew was a party of honor and integrity. It was John McCain. It was Colin Powell. It was Bob Dole. It was John Warner, who just passed. Those people are long gone from our political discussion, from our national security discussion, and from our reality. And right now, Kim Jong-un is thrilled. Our enemies all across the globe are celebrating. Putin is thrilled. Osama bin Laden somewhere is gone and buried, and he's celebrating. This is what our enemies have always wanted, our own government to push for its overthrow. I mean, Mike Flynn, everybody should understand, Mike Flynn still gets a military pension. He gets $100,000 from the U.S. government. He still has his flag grade rank. He should be court-martialed. He should be put in jail, and he should be treated like the national security threat he is. But some folks seem to be so thrilled that we've taken off our masks that they're kind of forgetting about the national security threat that is still right in front of us.
So, Paul, I'm going to press you on Mike Flynn because we haven't covered it yet, and I'm not going to play it here. But he said this. This is Mike Flynn, who, as you said, doesn't just get a pension, but in the sort of half of America that is still enthralled with Trump and Trumpism, they heard this from Mike Flynn. He said a Myanmar-like coup should happen in the United States. Paul, just underscore how anti-American that is.
He's calling for the military to overthrow our government. And it's not the first time. He's been doing this for months. It's not even coded language. I mean, he's right out in the open. If someone from ISIS was saying this, yeah, every FBI and CIA resource would be, sending SEAL Team 6 after them. But for some reason, this guy can go on, right-wing media and give public speeches and openly call for our military to overthrow the government and use his flag grade rank, use his title as a general, use that trust that he has with millions of people who still do believe and follow him. He is undermining the very essence of our government. He's threatening our national security, and he needs to be treated like the threat he is. He's taunting us. He's going on TV every day saying, "You can't touch me." And until we do something about him, he's a threat.